$6.09. That's the sandwich from the gas station on Refugee Road. You buy it every day at 10:15 in the morning, standing in your brown uniform with the truck idling outside because the engine's louder than the AC and you'd rather waste gas than sit in silence. You drive for UPS, 6 years now, 200 stops a day, give or take. Your knees know every porch step in a 4-mile radius better than they know your own driveway. Direct deposit hits every other Friday, $21.40 an hour, time and a half after 40. Most weeks it lands around $1,140 after everything gets taken out. You don't do the math on purpose. The math just runs in the background now, the way the truck's backup beeper runs in the background. So constant you stop hearing it. Rent is $980, a 2-bedroom you split with your brother Marcus off Livingston. Groceries run $140 if you're not lazy about it. Gas for your own car, another $70. What's left isn't nothing. It's just small enough that it never gets to relax. It gets watched. One Tuesday in September, you're back at the truck after the sandwich when your phone buzzes. A guy from the Groveport hub, Deshaun, is in the group chat with a screenshot, some crypto coin, up 40% in a week. He's typing in all caps like the caps make it more true. You don't reply, you just keep driving. But something about it follows you for the rest of the route. Not the coin, the tone of it. Like the money had been sitting there the whole time, waiting for somebody to bother picking it up. That night, you open your banking app for the first time in months. $740 in savings. It's been sitting there since March, earning something like 9 cents. You never checked the interest line before. Now you can't stop looking at it. You're not doing this because you feel smart. You're doing it because you're tired of a number that doesn't move. You open a brokerage account sitting in the truck and during your lunch break. Doors open, sandwich wrapper still on the passenger seat. It asks you questions you don't fully understand. How much risk can you tolerate? What's your time horizon? You guess. You pick the middle answer every time, the way you pick the middle shelf when you don't know what you're looking for. You put in $300, a broad market index fund, some name you can't say out loud without stumbling on it. You press confirm, nothing happens. No sound, no text telling you good job, just a number that said $740 now saying $440 in one place and $300 in a place you can't touch without paperwork and a waiting period. You almost feel like you did something wrong. You didn't. You just did something invisible, and nobody tells you that the beginning doesn't feel like a beginning. It feels like nothing at all. You set up an automatic transfer, $60 every payday, out before you can spend it on something that feels more real in the moment, like new boots or a tattoo you've been circling on your phone for a year. You don't tell Marcus. It's not a secret. It's just not a story yet. There's nothing to tell. Nobody starts this looking like they're starting anything. You go back to the route the next morning. 200 stops, same porches. And $300 sits somewhere you can barely picture, in a fund that doesn't know your route number, doesn't know your needs, doesn't need to know anything about you at all. 3 years in, and the sandwich is $6.75 now. That part crept up quiet, the way everything else did. Your account isn't $300 anymore. It's $9,800. You didn't win anything. You just kept moving $60, then $80, then $100 every payday without asking your mood for permission first. One morning before your shift, you check the app out of habit, not curiosity, and there's a line you've never paid attention to. Dividend received $3.85. You laugh once, not because it's funny, because it's small enough to be a joke and real enough not to be one. $3.85, almost the price of the sandwich back before it went up. You almost spend it just to prove to yourself it's real. Your thumb's already halfway to the gas station app before you catch it. Instead, you let it reinvest. You didn't drive for it, you didn't carry a single box up a single porch step for it. You slept, and it showed up anyway. That November, the dividends for the year add up to $61. Your phone bill is $58. You don't announce it to Marcus. You just notice it, standing in the kitchen. That one bill this year got paid by money that never rode in your truck. Deshaun's crypto coin is down 70% by then. He doesn't post about it anymore. Nobody in the group chat asks.
The market doesn't ask permission before it drops. It never has. It starts on a Monday. You don't feel it right away, you never do. By the following week, your account is down 15%. 15% doesn't sound like much until you translate it into dollars. And then it's $2,900 that used to be there and now isn't. You're standing at the truck, sandwich in hand, thumb over the app. Sell is right there. One tap and the part you can see stops moving. You don't tap it. It's not confidence. Your chest is doing the thing it does before a route review, but some sentence you have to remember says the loss isn't real until you make it real. So you don't make it real. You put the phone back in your pocket. That week's transfer runs anyway. $100 leaves your checking account and buys shares at the lower price, same as always, because the transfer doesn't check the news first. It just runs. 6 weeks later, the market comes back. Not all the way, not yet, but the shares you bought during the worst week are already worth more than what you paid for them. You don't celebrate. You just notice. Your supervisor, a woman named Priya, who's run the Groveport hub for 9 years, calls you into the office on a Thursday. Not the break room, the office with the door that closes. She offers you a dispatch role, off the truck, into the building. More pay, close to $8,000 a year more. But 5 days a week guaranteed, no route flexibility, no more finishing early on a good day. 10 years ago, you'd have said yes before she finished the sentence. Instead, you ask for a few days. Priya blinks, just slightly, like the question surprised her. You go home and open the spreadsheet you've kept since year 1. 2 columns, what the job pays, what the account pays. The raise lands around $500 a month after taxes. Your account sitting at $58,000 now paid out just under $310 last month between dividends and interest. Not because you did anything, because you never touched it. $500 a month for 5 fixed days a week. Or keep the flexibility and let the number keep doing what it's already doing. You tell Priya you appreciate it, but you're good on the truck for now. She doesn't push. Marcus takes a second job that year, weekends at a warehouse, trying to cover a truck payment neither of you ever talk about directly. You see him some Saturdays looking tired in a way that has nothing to do with sleep. You don't feel superior. You just notice the shape of 2 different weeks side by side. This drop is worse. Not the percentage, the dollars. Your account peaked at $164,000. By that spring, it's down to $131,000. $33,000 gone in a season. More than a year of your take-home pay. You don't sleep well that week. You run old math in your head, the kind you haven't done since the sandwich was $6.09. Was any of this real? Did you just get a run of good years and now the bill's arriving? You call your mother that Sunday, same as most weeks. She asks if you're okay. You say work's been stressful. That's not a lie. It's just not the whole truth either, because you don't know how to explain the rest of it in a way that doesn't sound like bragging or panic. Honestly, it's a little of both. Here's the part that surprises you more than the drop itself. You don't quite fit anywhere anymore, and you didn't notice it happening. You don't talk numbers with Deshaun the way you used to, back when neither of you had any. He mentions the market's rough, laughs, says that's why he keeps his money where he can see it. You used to find that funny. Now it just makes a space between you a little wider, and neither of you says so. The transfer keeps running anyway. Same amount, same day. It doesn't ask how you're feeling about belonging. It just does its job. 8 months later, the market comes back. The shares bought during the worst of it, bought with a hand that was shaking a little if you're honest, are worth more now than what you paid. Your account closes the year at $179,000, higher than before the drop started. The spreadsheet is open at 11:40 on a Wednesday night. You didn't mean to stay up, you just wanted to check the year-end numbers. Your salary this year, 16 years in, 2 route changes, and 1 promotion you did take, comes to $58,000. After everything, take home is a little over $3,200 a month. Your investment accounts, the brokerage and the retirement account through work, combined paid out $61,400 this year. Dividends, interest, some rebalancing gains. You read the number once. Then you check the formula, because you don't trust a number that arrives this quiet. The formula is right. For the first time in your life, the money made more than the job paid you to drive 200 stops a day. Nothing happens. No music. The fridge hums in the other room, same as last night. A truck passes outside.
not yours, somebody else's. You expected the beginning to feel like a beginning. 16 years ago, with the $300 and the sandwich wrapper on the passenger seat, it didn't. And this doesn't either. The biggest moments in this story were never going to announce themselves. They were always going to arrive disguised as a Wednesday. You still drive some days, even though you don't have to anymore. Priya offers you dispatch again a few years later. This time you say yes, not because you need the money, because you're ready for a different Tuesday. Deshaun's still catching up on things. You slide him the name of the guy who helped you set up your first transfer all those years ago. You don't make it a lesson. You just mention it the way you'd mention a good mechanic. You still eat a sandwich most mornings. It's $8.20 now. It's outlasted 2 market crashes, 1 promotion you turned down, and 16 years of the same alarm. Somewhere at that same hub right now, there's a 24-year-old you've never met standing by an idling truck, staring at a banking app on a lunch break, watching a number that hasn't moved in 8 months. He doesn't feel like he's starting anything. He just feels tired of watching it sit still. His thumb is hovering over the button. You already know what happens after that.